Welcome to another The Builders Agency Lessons, where I extract a lesson from recent history running my agency, and usually that's within the last week or so. Today's lesson is about communication between teams. So let me set up the scenario. So we have an agency partner. One of our agency partners has a client, a new client that they're doing stuff for already, but they need help on the development side. So I've already met with that client. We're coordinating, and basically what we do usually in these kind of circumstances, we have kind of a first project, right? A test project, something small. Let's see how it goes, right? Small in scope, low impact, something that, okay, let's work with their team. So they haven't established this client has a development team already, a couple people that are touching the site, right? Essentially. So they're doing different things. Somebody that's in charge of maintenance, somebody that's helping with content, doing all that stuff, right? And so that team, and then we have an SEO person in the agency that I'm partnered with. So I'm actually coordinating with it, the agency owner and the SEO person, and I haven't really, interfaced directly with the devs yet at this point in this conversation, right? So we're going to do this first project. We did that. We started we got the requirements, and I'm reviewing the requirements. I'm asking a lot of questions. Okay, just clarification. Is this exactly what we want us to do? Some of the things that we're doing is going to have kind of a large impact on the SEO front for sure. So I got all that crystal clear. I said, we're going to do this. And I specifically said, this is how we're going to solve that. This is how we're going to do this. This is the impact it has. Then there's some other things so we're ready to go, right? We got all those questions answered. Now, here's the thing. So because this is a new relationship, I ask questions. I ask more than usual questions, because I want to make sure everybody's on board with what we're going to do. And because it's a new relationship, I haven't had experience with the communication, how that works on everyone's end. I don't know, sometimes there can be multiple decisions. It's kind of like sales, right? In sales, if you're going to sell somebody something, or you're going to, or you're working on a project and you need approvals and stuff, you don't need to know who the decision makers are. Who's the stakeholders that are going to, sign off on this in the end, right? So you got to keep those things in mind. But there should be some central kind of communication and somebody in charge of at least in the silos that you're working in, right? So anyway, we started the work. We got the work done. Rock and roll. We did it. It was awesome. And a day later, I got the urgent message that some things were broken. Now I looked at that like, I'm not going to get into details what we all did and stuff, but I just looked at it like, well, it shouldn't be. All we did, I reiterated what we did. I said, we just did this. And this is what should happen after we do this thing. It should update these things, done. It should all happen automatically. And it's like, well, the first question is, how did we miss this? Well, so I'm like, well, what we tested gave me no red flags that I needed to go dig any deeper. There was no issues with what we were seeing. And what ended up long story short, what ended up happening was we were working on some things that the other team was also updating. There was some overlap there. They were updating a bunch of stuff. So by the time we did the task, all these things had changed that we didn't know about. And boom. And actually, again, not to get too far into it, it was just what ended up happening was actually the order of things that were done. Like we should have done our thing and then they go do their thing. Or there should be some other additional things that should be done or understood. Anyway, So this just drives home for me. This is the agency lesson, right? This really drives home. Now, we did everything we could. I did everything I could to make sure I understood the project, especially in the beginning. That other team should have been pretty clear on what we were doing too, right? Everybody else involved, because we're the new team, we have to assume that other team knows what they're doing and what they're giving us is low impact, that there's not going to be overlap. So there was something I don't 100% know because I haven't, we haven't talked about it deeply with that other team or the client. Was it a knowledge gap somewhere? They didn't understand what the true impact of what we were doing was. Was it just, not understanding the order of things, whatever it was. But it just really drives home, though. I mean, those things are going to happen. And we identified that issue, and then we quickly fixed it. I mean, we just had to do some extra stuff to fix some things. We recovered because things are going to happen. First of all, web development, things are going to happen. Even as much communication as you do, as hard as you try to make sure everyone's coordinating what's going on, things are going to happen. It's that old quote, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens, or something like that. Or how you react to what happens, or something. It's that. I mean, things are going to happen if you're listening to this and you're a web developer especially, but if you're an agency or you're somebody with a website, any business, things are going to happen. That's inherent in what you're doing. No matter how good your processes are, how smart your developers are, once in a while, bugs happen. Once in a while, something gets tripped up. And in this case, it was magnified because it's a new relationship and there's more people involved. We came into this project because we're helping them solve some problems. We're helping them solve mainly the problem of getting things done. They got a lot they want to get done. They haven't been able to, so they need to expand the team and improve some things. That's what we're there to help with. But this happened. But hopefully, has more of an impact on. We got a lot of other stuff done. Hopefully they're happy. I know our agency partner is, so we should be good. But it was a minor thing. But it drives home that fact. Have clear channels of communication. Ask lots of questions, even dumb questions. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I have to wonder sometimes, something like, why doesn't he not know that? Like he's been a web developer, full time for 10 years. He's been building sites for 20. How does he not know that? And from my perspective, it's not that I don't know that. It's that I have PTSD or experience with other things, in the past where that went sideways. And I know that I have to ask and be clear on certain things because there can be gaps and misunderstandings, and that's what's so important. Even when I'm working with my team, things are documented. I might create a bullet list of things to do, but I also might pair it with a video just to be certain that communication has happened and they can ask questions and stuff. So, and understanding flows too, like with this new team, if we do touch code, I had to learn what that flow is, that process. I don't care if they're in charge of it right now. So it turns out they have a staging area. I was like, yes, that's great. That's good news. You just tell me, because we're new, we're coming in. You tell me what your flow is, what your Git flow is. I don't think they use Git. But whatever your flow is in development, we'll do that. We just, again, it's something that at least somebody over there cares about that. And so that's a good sign. But hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it was interesting. Hopefully it was enlightening. Hopefully it makes you think about that next time. If you're, like I said, if you're a business that's getting help from an agency or outside or outsourcing outside teams and stuff, do not discount how important communication is, and understand things will happen. But make sure that, especially if you have multiple teams working together, make sure that you know who's in charge, who's leading that, and what they're working on, and you may learn some things about your team you don't want to sometimes too, but that's a whole nother story. Until next time, have a great weekend, week, wherever you are. on the calendar. Good rest of your day.